Boys and girls watching today, we are going to talk some more about this place right here, the jungle or the rainforest. We're going to talk about some people, though, that live in the rainforest. Now, we've talked about these animals. Do you think Mrs. Stewart could live in the rainforest?
No.
No, I don't think I could, just because I don't like this right here. What are these? Snakes. That's a boa constrictor, and I could not live where there are lots of snakes, especially great big snakes like the boa constrictor. Oh no. But I do like the orangutans and the monkeys and the macaws are so pretty, and what is that?
Toucan.
A toucan, yes. So there's lots of animals in the Purity Tiger that live in the jungle or the rainforest, but there are some people that also live there. Did you know that there are some people there? There's some people there. And you know what? That's why it's important to have missionaries, because missionaries can go to the people that live in these rainforests and tell them about Jesus. Because the people that live here in these rainforests, they know how to talk. They have their own languages, and they know how to do things like cook and hunt for food so they can survive, but they don't necessarily know about Jesus. And so people need to go to these places so that they can share the gospel about Jesus. So I want to tell you about some people that live in the rainforest. Maybe one day you will have that special job to go and tell them about Jesus. One of the first people I want to tell you about is called the pygmies. Say that with me. Pygmies. Now the pygmies are called pygmies because they are people that are shorter people. They are a group of people that are shorter, and they live in the rainforest. Now, Mrs. Stewart's kind of short. I'm not as tall as most people. So they're probably my height, maybe even shorter than me. And they can hunt. Oh, they do. They like to hunt. And you know what they do? It's something really neat. They know how to make nets. They make their own nets, and they use those nets to catch animals. Guess what kind of animals they like to catch?
Tigers.
You'll never guess. Not tigers.
Fish.
Not fish.
Snakes.
Not snakes, let me tell you. Those are good guesses, though, really good guesses. They like to catch antelopes. Say that with me. Antelopes. Antelopes. Do you know that just like we here in America, we like to eat things like hamburgers? We do. We love to eat hamburgers. Well, they don't go in the rainforest. There's no hamburger shop. They can't go get hamburgers and French fries, can they? So where do we get our hamburger meat from, though?
A store.
Well, we do get it from a store, but where does hamburger meat come from? What kind of animal?
Pig.
Not a pig. Do you know? A cow. From cows. From cows. So they get their meat from antelopes. They like to eat the meat from the antelopes. So they will use their nets, and they will cast their nets and catch the antelopes. And the antelopes will get all tangled up, and they'll get all tangled up and everything, and they will catch them and be able to use their skin for clothing because they don't have stores that they can just go and get clothes from. So they use the animal fur for clothing and for blankets and things like that to keep warm. And then they also use the meat that they can use to eat and have some yummy food that they like to eat as well. Well, then there's some other things they like to do. They like to eat something that's sweet. So they have their meat that they like, and then they like something that's really sweet. What could be something that's sweet that you might find outside that you could eat? What is it? I heard somebody say it. What is it, Joseph?
Honey.
Honey, it is. There is a special bird. It's called the honey guide. Say that with me.
Honey.
A honey guide, and it's just like its name. It's called the honey guide. It helps the pygmies. Who are the people?
Pygmies.
The pygmies. It helps the pygmies to go and find honey for them. They will find the beehives, and then guess what they do? They will find the beehives, and then what the pygmies will do, they will gather some leaves, some dry leaves, and they will make a little fire with those dry leaves. And the smoke, they'll build it right underneath where the beehive is. And then the smoke, it's really neat what the smoke does. The smoke will come up because the smoke rises, and it'll come up and it'll make the bees. What do you think the bees do? They go to sleep. It'll make the bees go to sleep so that the bees won't sting the birds or the pygmies. And then the pygmies can get up in that tree and get that honey, that beehive, and they can get the honey out of the beehive. And they'll take all the honey, but they'll leave some of the honey for the special helper, the honeybird, or the honey guide it's called. So they leave some of that honey for the honey guide. Aren't they so kind that they share with their honey guide? They do. They leave some of that honey for the honey guide. So we have the pygmies, and then we have another group of people. These people are called the pennants. Say that with me.
Pennant.
Pennant. The pennant, or they're called nomads. Say that word. Nomad. A nomad is somebody that, even people sometimes are called nomads, and these people are nomads. So we could even be called nomads. If you move from place to place and you just keep moving around, then you are called a nomad. If you don't live in one place all the time, and that's what they do. They move from place to place. Once they eat the food, all where they're at, where they find all the berries and the fruits, and they've used up all their stuff that they find, then they'll move to another part of the rainforest and find more food. So they just keep moving around. They don't stay put. They move around. And they use something really neat. They use something called a blowgun. Say that. Now, it's not like a gun like a police officer would use, or something like a gun that you would use to go hunting with. It is not really a gun, but they call it a gun. It's like a really long tube, probably made out of like wood from a tree. And they will use that tube, and they will make some special like arrow type things out of sticks. And they'll put a little bit of poison that they get from plants and berries and things that are poisonous, and they will put it on the end of it. And when it gets wet, that's when it gets poisonous. So they sometimes will spit on it. They won't touch it because they don't want to get the poison on them. And they will put it inside this big long, it's really long, super long blowgun, this really long tube. And then they'll blow in it like that. And you have to have really, really good blowing. You know, when you try to blow up a balloon, you have to be able to blow even harder than that. And they blow in it, and that dart or that stick that has a little bit of poison on it will go out, and they have to learn how to blow really hard. And then that stick will stick to an animal or something that they want to eat, and it will help them to catch whatever it is that they're catching. So they use that to hunt with. That's how they use it. Well, then there's some other people called the Dayaks. Say that with me.
Dayaks.
The Dayaks. Now the Dayaks, those are fun people too. The Dayaks, they live in a special house. It's called a long house. Say that with me. A long house. Now remember when we talked about way long time ago about the Pilgrims when they first came to America, they built a long house, and it was used for everything. Remember, they used it for their kitchen, they used it for their church, they used it for their hospital, they used it for everything. And lots of people lived there that first winter, remember? Well, the Dayak people, they all lived together. There could be up to 400 people that live in this house. It's so big. That's all their whole group of people, the Dayaks. And they will live in this very long house, and they share with each other. They share their food, and they will live together in this very long house. And they call it the long house because it's so long for them to all live in. And then there's one more people I want to talk to you about, and they're called the Kunas. Say that with me. The Kunas. The Kuna people, they live on an island near the rainforest. Remember, an island means that there's water. Where's the water? On all what? All the sides. So they live on an island off the jungle or the rainforest, and they build canoes that they will travel in, and every day they will get in their canoes and they will row themselves to the shore onto the land where the rainforest is, and they'll go there and they'll grow food, and they'll go and they'll check on their food every day, and they'll plant food and things like that, and they'll get food to take back with them over to their island. But that's where they live, on a little island off of where the rainforest is. So people can live in the rainforest with these animals that live in the rainforest, but they have to be very careful, don't they? But they know how to live. God helps them to know how to survive and how to live and how to get food and clothing and things like that. But you know what? God wants us to share the gospel, doesn't he? And maybe that'll be your job someday. You will go and you will tell the gospel to the pygmies or the Kunas. How exciting that would be to go and share the gospel to these people that live in the rainforest. Maybe, boys and girls watching, maybe someday you might get to go there and you could share the gospel, or maybe you're watching from right there and you share the gospel already with these people.